Okay, this is the beginning of my Medusa composite. On layer 1 I have an image that I borrowed for this educational purpose, and a snake that I have already removed the background of and pasted into this drawing and rotated it. Underneath everything, so I can get a better idea of the color that I want to apply to this, or the not color I want to apply to this, I'm going to create a new layer and place that entire layer in the background and fill it. Command A, first select all, and then Option Delete, Command Delete. How about Edit Fill? What the heck? Must select the layer. There we go. Select all, Option Delete. Now it's white behind it. It's not really, it doesn't have to be white, but it's just something so I can see what it's doing. Right now, with my first snake selected, I'm going to start moving and duplicating the snakes. So I'm going to select this snake layer and use the move tool here to move the snake, and pressing the option key. Let's try that again. I'm going to press the option key and then move the snake. So now I have two. And Command T for free transform, and I'll rotate this snake. Okay. So return key and deselect. Those are actually both on the same layer right now because I did an option drag. Okay, but if I'm going to undo a couple steps, Shift Command Z. Another easier way I could do this is just to duplicate this layer a few times, and then I can just start at the top and start moving these snakes from where they are. Deselect, and here's another one here. 1, 2, 3, and then Command T and start rotating these around. Return, click that layer, Command T, rotate, return. Alright, looks like I need to move my head form down, so I'm going to lower that. So in a little while, Command T and rotate this, I'm going to have a lot of snakes here. And return, and middle one, and V for move tool. Right, and then I can just begin again. I can duplicate this one, Command T, move it over, and rotate it. You're gonna want to layer a lot of these, and I seem to have thought that this was going to fit in the center, but now I'm realizing, hitting the return key, that I really want to move this really way down. So I have a nice big area above the top of the head to get those snakes, making a nice big snake afro, and really pile them on and fill them up. It might be worth considering color or no color. If you select the layer, which is the face layer, and you want to remove all color from it, a really easy way to do that. And I would also duplicate this layer so you have one that's unharmed, and you can stick it under the background like that, just to kind of, keep it for safekeeping. And then I'll remove all the color from this one. So I'll do Edit Image Adjustments, and that is Hue and Saturation. And I'll remove all the saturation. Taking the saturation out has made the background black and white. Okay. And now these snakes really do have color in them. I could do the same thing with those. And again, it's Image Adjustments, and it's Hue Saturation right there. Command U, and then I can just remove all the saturation. It might just be easier to select that layer, go Command U, which is for Hue Saturation. Do that one, Command U, taking that one out, and finally top one, Command U. So now there's really no color in the color. Wrong way here. No color. Very brightly colored. Right, and now we just keep on piling these on each other. Like, make another one. Move that one. Where is it? Oh, it's over here. So, and now comes some more interesting stuff here. So these just are all kind of curling in the same way. Command T, again, to rotate this one. And now I'm going to use a new tool here. And in fact, I'm going to hit the return key, a bunch of these others. so you don't have to see them. And so with this duplicate of the one that's right beneath it, I'm going to choose a tool called puppetwarp. And puppetwarp is a way of creating a Okay, I cannot read anymore. It's been a really long day. All the words are just blending together. It is under puppetwarp, content aware scale. Okay, so what this does is initially here is putting this crazy looking mesh on here. Okay.
Awesome.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start clicking, and I'm making little points with this clicking tool. It is like putting these points down right where the curves are, as if these are going to be like hinges. Right? So now I've put them there, but when I mouse right over on one of these points, I can severely warp this thing. So
That is
it's kind of gross, but if you're subtle with it, there we go, you'll start seeing variations without really having to use a whole lot of snakes there. Alright, so now I'll hit return. That'll set the warp. And now when I turn the next layers on, so I'm starting to get a lot more depth and a lot more warp. Okay, so I'm going to come back to the bottommost layer. With this layer selected, I'm going to intensify the contrast. So I'm going to use image adjustments levels. And whatever setting I pick for this one, so I'm going to slide this over so I have more darker tones. Okay, and I can see that's 0, and this is staying at 255, so 0.69. So I can click OK, and essentially then just open up that dialog box, which is image, show it, select it, image adjustments levels, and then I can just type in this field 0.69 and not have to guess. Did I levels adjust them the same? You might not want them the same. You might want them to have various amounts of tonality to them. That could also increase the depth. But I'll show you the puppetwarp again with this one on this side. So I will duplicate this layer, and then I will do Command T to rotate, and I'll rotate this off a little bit and just move it over. Hit the return key and go to Edit and Puppetwarp and set some points down, one for the nose, one for the top of the head, and I'll put many on here. The more points you put on here does tend to constrain the movement of your puppet warping so that it's not as wild. So if I'm moving this part of the head, I probably also want to move this part of the head and also move this point. And move this curve up, move this one up. It's really weird.
I don't have that tool.
You don't have this tool?
Because I have CS4.
I'm sorry.
You know?
pretty cool tool.
Yeah.
It's a really cool tool. And I'm not being very careful. You can probably do a much better job. Alright, so then hit return, and so it is definitely warped different than its friend there. I would just keep duplicating and piling them on until it all fills up. You might even want to, like on this bottommost layer here, you might even want to set yourself an area. So you could just take a brush and use a color like a light gray, like this, and draw for yourself like how far out you want this to go. Like, you know, so maybe that's not far out enough, or maybe it wants to, you know, even be coming out of here. I don't have the reference. You have the reference. So, you know, I would want to start looking at the reference and seeing where the snake's heads are and tails are and how much space it fills. And then just keep piling on the snakes. I would do the whole thing in grayscale first. I would not worry about color. And as far as this thing goes here, you could even level adjust this. Like we could make it, you know, less harsh by opening up some of the highlight tonality, because it's going to look really different. now, okay? So that is quite a bit different. And so that's the beginning of your Medusa. I'll hang on to this and I'll work on it over the weekend and you work on yours and we'll see how we do, okay?
God, it's a competition.
No, it's just for fun, all right? Because I've never thought about doing that. I think it's a great idea. I want to do one of myself. I think I have to change the photo, though.